Ya'ate habine. Hello, this is Matt from Access Navajo. Today I'd like to show you how to play the game that accompanies Book 2, Tsoodził, in our Fun with Navajo Verb series. The game can be downloaded for free from our website at www.accessnavajo.com. You don't have to buy the book. If you have already installed Java on your computer, the game should run fine. If you haven't, you will need to install a Java runtime environment. One place you can go to download that also for free is at www.java.com. This game consists of two parts. In the first part, you unlock the game by arranging the stems in a stem set into a specific pattern for a given verb. Once you've done that, you can then proceed to conjugate the forms of that verb by person: first person, second person, third person, fourth person, singular, dual, plural. Just as in game 1, you have a big box in the middle that contains all the verbs that you can access while you're playing the game. You'll notice that these verbs run from verb 1, which is the first verb in book 1, all the way down to verb 250, which is the last verb in book 2. Now, a single verb, verb 308, has been added from book 3 for reasons that I will explain in a minute. The buttons check results, show answers, and na, as well as the play button, all function exactly the same as they do in the game for book 1. The main difference lies in the set stem pattern key. Now, it is possible to play the game without using the set stem pattern key at all if you're willing to accept random stem sets selected for you by the software. So you have the choice here of either going through and picking a verb on your own, or of using the play button to randomly establish a set of stems for you to put in order here. So I'm going to go ahead and just play with these. We put them in order based on the rules and the patterns that are laid out in a special chapter in book 2 on Navajo stem set patterns. I'm just going to go ahead and do this right here. And once you think you've got the stems in the correct order, you click on check results. If everything is green, then a short amount of time passes and you get the first person singular forms of the verb. Now, since you have just put the stem sets in order, you can use that information to help you organize the actual verb forms that come up based on the stems. So let's go ahead and do that. And inishta. So ideshta. Let's get these and inishta. So this is going to be here, and that will be there. And let's see if we got those right. There we go. Then after a short period, it jumps to the first person dual forms. If you get those right, you get the first person plural forms, and then on to second person singular, dual, plural, third person singular, dual, plural, and fourth person singular, dual, plural. If you ever want to jump out of this loop, you just come back to play, click here, and you get a fresh set of stems to work with here. So this one is being organized according to the patterns that are described in the book. And once you get it right, you just click on check results. If you make a mistake, then all you have to do is click on show answers, and it will indicate to you what the expected answer is in each position. And then we come back through and we can do it again. So this is the same stem set, and those are the two that we had out of order the first time through. This time we check it and we've got them all right, so it'll automatically jump in and we can work our way through. Now, it's possible to push this. I don't have to do first person singular. I might want to do, for instance, third person singular. Then I just click on na, and there they are. I can work with those, can put those in order exactly the same way as we just did. and Nenaatlo. All right, there we go. Check results, and you can keep on playing. To my mind, the coolest thing about this game is that you're able to practice the stem set patterns. Now, all the patterns and the rules are laid out in great detail in the special section in book 2. So I'm not going to go over that here. But the thing about this is that you can actually practice it here. So we can click on the set stem pattern and we get the first pattern, AABAA. The second pattern is ABBAB. The third pattern is ABBAA, and then we go to the verbs that don't fit the patterns, and those come in two types. One type is the ones that obey the rules, and then the other type is those that disobey the rules or don't obey the rules. Now, if you remember, I had to bring in a special verb and put it at the end here because there were no verbs that either did not fall into the patterns or did not follow the rules in all of the 250 verbs in book 1 and book 2. I had to go to book 3 and bring in a verb that just doesn't fit the stem set patterns. They're so rare. There are very, very few of them. Now remember, that's 250 verbs, but a lot of those verbs, or some number of them, have multiple stem sets. So that's a lot of stem sets to have no irregularity. It's pretty cool. Navajo is very regular. So let's go to the first pattern and let's practice the sub patterns. So click on all variations now, and we get the first sub pattern is SSZSS. Now what does that mean? That means that in the future stem, we're going to have a stem that ends in an S, or due to consonant harmony, things like that, you could have SH. In the imperfective stem, it's going to be S or SH. In the perfective stem slot, you're going to have Z or ZH. In the usative and iterative stem slot, remember these two share a stem, so that's your fourth stem. You're going to have an S or SH, and then in the optative slot, you're going to have an S or SH. So we've made these settings. Let's click on play and see what we get here. There you go. We've got SHs. Now look at the end of the words here, and then one ZH. So we put the ZH in the middle as per the pattern, right? S, S, Z, S, S. Then everything is SH, 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 SH. Completely simple. You can't go wrong. Click check results, and there you go. Now, a lot of times I like to play just the stem patterns like this. I do play both the conjugation and the stem set patterns, but it is a lot of fun, and it really makes you feel powerful to be able to do this stem set stuff on a large scale and get it right consistently. Let's try this again now. This time we have SH, SH, AZ. This time it's almost all in order. We have to apply one of the rules, which are laid out in the book, remember. Short, long, and then over here, as for the fourth and fifth stems, short, long. We make one small change, and it fits. It was perfectly in line with the pattern, and it can't be wrong. It is right. Watch. There we go. Let's do one more. Okay, dloj, then dlosh, dlosh, and dlosh, dlosh. So we want to be short, long, and short, long. There we go. We got it again. Do one more. Let's see if we can get an S and a Z in here somewhere. All right, that one is going to be aj, and we need short, long, so we'll do that, and boom. Okay. And let's try one more. There we go. This time we have a Z in the middle, short, long on the right. That's good. On the left, we have to change it to short, long. And there we go. Check our results, and we're right on. Okay, you see how cool that is? That's just one sub pattern of the first of the three main patterns. Let's try the second sub pattern. This pattern is a future stem that ends in hla, imperfective that ends in h. The X means we can have either a voiced stem or a glottal, and then we have H in the fourth slot, which is usative, iterative, and sla in the optative. So let's see what we get when we call this up with the software. All right, so tien is our perfective. Now remember, we want a sla in the future and a sla in the optative, and these two will normally be the same, exactly the same stem. Then here in the imperfective and the usative iterative, we have an imperfective. The stem that's in the slot is high. The high stem needs to go on the right, and this stem that is now in the fourth slot needs to go on the left. So we reverse those two, low, high, okay, and boom, there we go. Let's try another one. Okay, this time we have progressive stems, so we'll have to factor that in, but the same rules apply. Quand is our voiced stem right here. You see the X. Then we'll have the sla in the future and another sla in the optative. And then we're going to have low, ka, and then high over here. And then the rule is that normally the progressive stems take the future and imperfective stems. So the future is kal, so we'll put kal in the first progressive stem and ka in the second. There we go. Kal ka, kan, ka kal, kal kan. I'm sorry, that one is not nasalized, so it's ka. And there we have it. We know that's right because it's following all the rules and everything fits perfectly. There we go. Okay, let's do one more here and see what we get. Oops, I'm going to come back around to the second one. I accidentally clicked on the wrong thing there. Let's try one more. Okay, so here we have progressives as well. Al in the future, al in the optative. So this one progressive is going to be al as well. And we're going to have en in the middle, and then and then in the second progressive stem. All right, works perfectly. Let's try the third pattern, the third sub pattern of the first main pattern. So now we have fla in the future. We have a either voiced or glottal in the perfective, and then everything else is going to be H's. This one's really easy to remember because you've got 3 H's and it's pattern 1, 3. So the number of H's tells you what it is here. All right, let's try that. Let's put the sla in the future. Now this time we have a glottal instead of a voiced, so zing, and then we have all H's. We know that's right. It just fits the pattern perfectly. It can't be anything else. Let's try another one. Now we're going to have the sla in the future, and now we have a glottal in the perfective, z, z, z. So no choices to make there. All the ones with H are exactly the same. It's got to be right. It just can't be wrong. Let's try one more. Okay, so our sla in the future, this time it's voiced, not a glottal. And then B, B, and B. Those are all the same. Check results. Right on the money. Okay, let's do the fourth sub pattern. All H's with either a glottal or a voiced syllable in the middle. So let's try that. All H's with a glottal in the middle. That's super simple, right? Let's do another one. All H's with a glottal or a voiced in the middle. This is just so easy, and yet it's so powerful. Just think of what this means. You can learn Navajo 5 stem sets at a time, all or 5 stems in a set at a time. You learn all the stems at once, so you can conjugate any of the modes once you get this in your head. All right, there we go. Okay, let's try the fifth pattern. This time we have sla, sla, la, so it's voiced in the middle, and then sla, sla. So let's see what we get when we call those up. One of these needs to be a voiced L, ts'il, and the rest are ts'il, 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 ts'il. There you go. Super simple. And you learn to recognize these in any order, all jumbled up like this. It's really, really neat. Let's try one more. So we're looking for the L here. Tsoodził. Now we need to apply one rule to get these right. Short, long, and then over here, positions 3 and 4, short, long, make one change, and boom, there it is, exactly on. It's not close, it's right on the money. Do one more. Okay, here's tal. So short, long, tal, 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 and then never fails. Let's do the 6th sub pattern. Now this is a little bit more complex. So here we have a voiced syllable in the middle, a voiced stem in the middle. We have a glottal on the end, and then the 2nd and 4th slots are H's with hl in the initial slot. So let's call one of those up and see what we get. Hl in the initial, and we have H and H with the glottal in the middle there. No, glottal on the end, and a voiced consonant in the middle. And then here we have H and H. Now this one, you have to recognize this. When you have this long voiced stem in the middle, very often you're going to have a long high stem in the imperfective and the E, a low one. This is the only time where you have high on the left and low on the right. But it's an accepted pattern. It's easy to identify once you know what it is, and boom, there it is, right on. Let's do another one. So again, we're going to have this long voiced vowel here in the middle. We're going to have the hl in the future position. Let is going to be on the end. That's our glottal. And then we're going to have a high low situation here because of this long vowel here, and that gives us a perfect match. All right, so we've done one complete pattern with 6 sub patterns. Now let's take a quick look at what happens when we get something that doesn't fit into the patterns. No pattern, but it obeys the rules. So let's take a few of these and just see what we get here. All right, well, one possibility is that they're all the same. So that's a no-brainer. You have nothing to do there. Okay, let's try another one. Well, there we go, another one. That's going to be an easy one to finish. Let's try again. Now this time we have different things here. So this will not fit the pattern, but we know that hl goes in the future stem slot. We're going to have let on the end, and we have le and le here. We also have when we have 2 glottalists like this, you normally put the longer higher one in the perfective and the lower short one on the right. That's just a rule, and that works all the time. There's almost no exceptions to that. So this one follows the rules. Does it fit A, B, B, A, B? Well, no, it doesn't, because that's A, A, B, A, B. That would be a new pattern if we were going to call it that. And that's the other thing. You can come through here and you may be able to figure out new patterns. Once you start thinking this way, it's very, very easy to identify these stem sets. Your brain loves to use patterns to process things. And so you're going to become very Navajo smart, quote unquote, when it comes to stem sets real quick. There are only roughly 1,200 stem sets in the entire language, and you've got several hundred of them in the 4 books of our series, and probably more than half of those in the first 2 books. So let's check our results. Everything works. Let's try another one that obeys the rules. Let's see that we obeys the rules here. I clicked it by accident. All right, there's one that obeys the rules, but that is not lining up. 5 H's. So what do we do here? We go short, long, and then we just ignore the middle one because we have nothing special there to look at. So check our results, and there we go. All right, now let's go to the ones that don't obey the rules. And again, the only one in here that doesn't obey the rules is this 308. I had to put it in because the software gets excited if there's nothing there when you tell it to go search for something. You end up getting an endless loop. Not a good situation. So let's see what happens. Will it find it? There it is. So what do we do with this one? This is an exception. You would think it would go tsoodził like that, and then you would expect it to be an ABBAA pattern, but actually it's not. It works out to be an AABBA pattern, which is very unusual. Again, in 250 verbs in books 1 and book 2, there was nothing that did not obey the rules. So I had to bring this one in. We'll check our results. There it is. You just have to learn this one. There's one exception out of 250. That we can afford, right? Okay. Now I need to give you fair warning here, because once you get bitten by this stem set pattern thing, there's no going back. You're just going to want to keep playing this until you get all the patterns. And believe me, it's a lot of fun. Okay, well that wraps up game 2. Hat insad beta neepe naneneto benenedlingo nejoneko de nebezad beholsh adolech. Hagwane.